Hey guys, it's Tripl-L, and here we are coming in with a late impression video for One Piece chapter 904. The chapter pretty much just gave us a bunch of revolutionaries who are pretty cool all around. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple, because the chapter is a good portion of just people fighting and just seeing the characters show off. I think it's pretty simple. But there are like standout moments that I really enjoyed in this whole thing. Just looking at the chapter again, I think my highlights in terms of the characters, I'm liking Karasu and I think Betty the most. I really like them a lot. Betty has an interesting character design, and throughout the whole chapter I wasn't really feeling her, but then we had that last panel with her taking off her sunglasses slightly, and then it kind of got me over to the character. And Karasu in general, like his quirk and then also his devil fruit power is just so interesting that he's striking. Anyway, it's pretty interesting to see all these characters here. Lindbergh and Morley, of course, are also worthwhile. They're just not my type of thing. Lindbergh, I think, of all of them, got the most unimpressive thing. I think he had the least. Yeah, he probably had the least panels compared to everyone else, because Betty's one of the big talkers in this chapter. Anyway, with this chapter, it's just setting up stuff for the Revolutionary Army. And you know, as we started off, we begin with the guys in Kamabaka Kingdom. This, we should have seen it coming. I'm not sure if I called it before, or like I was one of the people that was mentioning it as a possibility. We previously saw Ivankov getting ready for people arriving at the kingdom. I think this happened before the attack on Baltigo, or maybe it happened around the same time. Anyway, them showing up at the Kamabaka Kingdom makes sense from the moment we had that cover story saying that Kamabaka Kingdom was undergoing preparations. So that was pretty neat. And I'm just looking at the Kamabaka Kingdom now, that page. Look, there's a Kamabaka seeking right there. That's really funny. Anyway, back on this. It's good to see that the majority of the army got into the Kamabaka Kingdom. And looking at it, like, I really wonder how much damage did Blackbeard even do? Because everyone here seems to be pretty happy and they seem to be pretty okay. Like, Sabo looks okay, Dragon looks okay. So I do kind of wonder if Blackbeard just kind of got lucky, or if the Revolutionary Army was just kind of, what if they were just playing a runaway battle? Like, they weren't actually engaging. They were just like, well, we're gonna, what's it called? Sorry, declare war on the Tenryubito. We don't really need to have this base anymore. I wonder if they cut their losses really quickly and just got out of there. I'd be really interested to find that out. Anyway, yeah, the fact that no one has injuries here definitely just calls into question how effective they were. I wonder if the Revolutionary Army even had an idea that Burgess was riding on their ship. I wonder if they knew that Burgess was coming in along with them. Because if you think about it from the perspective of an information war, if the Revolutionary Army sets it up such that it looks like they are in pretty bad straits, the world government wouldn't really expect the Revolutionary Army to show up all of a sudden at their base, right? Like, they wouldn't expect the Revolutionary Army in general if they think, oh, they're still licking their wounds from Blackbeard. So I wonder if that's the thing. I wonder if that was the play here. Even then, that's kind of a stretch, I think. That said, we have the Revolutionary Armies, and we have just a quick reaction from Ivankov and Sabo, like the most interested parties when it comes to the Straw Hats. Giving us a few little dialogues here, and also Ivankov pointing out that Sanji never told him or her that that he was part of Germa 66. That's just that line is nice, because it does say okay, Sanji and Ivankov to some degree were kind of friendly, maybe? I don't know how you would categorize that relationship. Anyway, their part serves as the premising. They give us information and they set up, okay, well, we're waiting for these 4 other guys who are on this other island. They're on their way here. They just ran into trouble. And when you go into this one, we get more premising for the 4 commanders of the army, and we're being told how they are usually separate. if it's common knowledge that the Revolutionary Army commanders are usually separated across the world, again, I have to like wonder how much of an easy fight did Blackbeard get at the main base. Most likely, super easy fight. So now I wonder if Blackbeard went and they took over Dragon's main headquarters. You know, is that is Blackbeard capitalizing on that new real estate, or is it's in a situation where Blackbeard wouldn't occupy that area because Dragon could easily leak information on where that area is? You know, I'm still wondering, like, how exactly did this battle play out between the Blackbeard forces and Dragon's forces? When we have the whole Peachbeard or Pinkbeard part, we do have a little bit of an thing at the end where one of the commanders mentions that Blackbeard doesn't really care about his underlings, and like I'm reading that line with a lot of scorn, so I wonder if one of the commanders is referring to that, to like some kind of prior experience with Blackbeard, knowing that he is just a shit person. Anyway, with the commanders, you know, one of the big things that they're giving us is just their whole Devil Fruit powers. You know, you have Morley, he's moving through the ground in a way that Pika does. He's got, or sorry, in a way that Senor Pink does. He's moving the ground around. He has a very interesting Devil Fruit. It combines aspects of those two Paramecia, or not Paramecia. Wait, was Pika Paramecia? I think so. I think he was. Yeah, he was Paramecia. Because I don't think he could regenerate his... Anyway, not going to get into it. Pika and Senor Pink having their kind of properties thrown into one Devil Fruit. It's pretty interesting. Again, it is pretty cool. Like Morley's in particular, it's like kind of cool. Like Karasu still has the coolest one, but just the idea of a giant just like making his way out of the ground, and he's not even breaking the ground. Like he's clearly underneath it, but he's squeezing himself out. I want to know what kind of distortion this is. Like, how is this working out? But just, it's cool to see how he's doing things. The biggest difference, though, I would say, is that I don't think he has the degree of control that Pika had. Pika could make a giant form of himself. I don't think this guy could do the same. I think he can distort the ground to some degree, but I don't think the distortions themselves are that easy for him to control. It kind of looks like he's tilling the ground, honestly. So his power, he's softening the ground, he's making it manipulatable, and then he's moving through it or distorting it. It's interesting. I want to see like the full definition for that Devil Fruit. Bello Betty's Devil Fruit. It's pretty simple. It looks like an opposite of Perona's Devil Fruit. I think it's cool enough. I think that it being in the hands of a revolutionary is cool because like she has her shtick. She tells them like, hey, you guys gotta do it for yourselves, and once they do it for themselves, they're like, I know you're weak, so hey, I will help you out, but only because you have proven that you're willing to help yourself out. So this is like the kind of philosophy like I usually hear it a lot with religious folk. So it would be the philosophy like God will help you out if you are willing to help yourself out. So that kind of idea, the Revolutionary Army will help you if you yourself put in some kind of groundwork first. I like that, right? Because for the Revolutionary Army, they kind of need that rhetoric. They need people who are willing to also fight alongside them and potentially also die alongside them, because that's kind of what fighting for a future usually entails. Moving on into the other power set, Lindbergh, Inventor, Cold Gun, whatever. Not the most interesting. I don't care. I'm sure he does a lot of things for the Revolutionary Army. He's a freaking commander. And then we have Karasu. Karasu, we've seen him before. We saw him when Sabo was flying away on crows back in Dressrosa. So it's cool to see him here. And Karasu, for sure, most interesting guy here because he has a few like design differences. Or actually, he has one significant design difference from the other commanders. So he's striking. And he's also like the one that Oda's planned out for longer, for sure. Oda's known about this guy for much longer, or we can assume that is the case since he's been introduced earlier in the story. Now with Karasu, he is able to turn his body into multiple crows, and then from what we saw with the Sabo scene in Dressrosa, he himself can turn into a crow. But it's just, this is a really interesting power. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna like how to classify this. Awakened Zoan, Awakened Paramecia can't be a Logia, but Awakened Paramecia maybe. Maybe he had a power. It's just like with the Zoan thing, he's turning into a crow. He's definitely turning into a crow. Like part of his body is, but definitely somewhere his brain is, because he is able to talk through a crow form. The crows themselves can change shape. We saw like with the one that was carrying Sabo off in Dressrosa, it was two crows joined as one in where their wings overlap. So he's clearly has some control over the crow form. So like you look back to Chopper. Chopper is one of the characters that has the best degree of control over his Zoan form in One Piece up to date. If this guy is able to like get his Zoan form to a point where he can actually split his Zoan form into multiple forms, I think that's totally reasonable. But I think that's like verging on that's like kind of in the awakening zone. If this guy's a Paramecia, okay, but he's also he's producing crows and he's turning into crows. The last time we had this kind of issue was with Katakuri, and Katakuri ended up having an awakened Paramecia. So I want to believe it's one of those two. It's just this is very hard to kind of tell, because this power has properties that are kind of, you can make it work either way. Like really, Oda only needs to say that this power is an exception. Heck, One Piece fans will even accept it if Oda was just to say this is a special Paramecia. Why? Because they accepted it with Katakuri. All that we need is Oda saying that this is an exception to the rules, and we have enough. And everyone will just accept it. So, it's just one of those interesting things. What do you guys think? What do you guys think it's like his power? What do you think is closest to, Zoan or Paramecia? Again, he's turning into crows. That is so far into Zoan. Or the other way you could argue that is that they're not actually crows. They're more like feathers in the shape of crows. In which case he's turning into feathers. That's still kind of weird though. Anyway, those are pretty much like the big points I really want to talk about in the chapter. One of the things like to take note of though is that we get to see the flag of the Revolutionary Army, and also we get to see this design detail of the Revolutionary Commanders. 3 of them wear Sabo's hat. Well, not Sabo's hat, but 3 of them are wearing Sabo's gimmick, the goggles on the hat. I thought that was a very clever way of saying that these guys fall under Sabo. Of course, Karasu doesn't have it, but it's cool that the other 3 do. Anyway, guys, let's call it there. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I hope you have a great day, and let me know what you think of this chapter and any other thoughts you might have. Anyway, yeah, have a great day.